Chased down my heart through all of my faith and pride. On the hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, big failures disappear. Well, you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you so alive, I can see your heart and everything you've done. Every path designed in a work of art. If you gladly just surrender so I can see your heart in billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them so alive, like you would again 100 billion times, but one measure could amount to your desire. You're the one who never leaves the one behind. All these pieces broken and scattered, in mercy gathered, mended and whole, empty-handed but not forsaken. I've been set free. I've been set free. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Ooh, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, I can see it now. Oh, I can see the love in your eyes, laying yourself down, raising up the broken to life.
Yes. Good night. Good night. Yes, good night. Tonight we have a very important and interesting topic. Yeah. We're live on Zoom and we live on Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, so we're live a couple places and tonight we're going to just touch the surface. just touching the surface and making sure, all is good. Well, that's a special good night to each and every one of us. Yeah, I want a special good night to each and every one who is listening right about now. Yeah, understand. God is good, and He has given us an opportunity to link up again tonight with the thing we call Rise Expression. Yeah, so tonight we're gonna have some fun, you know. Not one of the nicest conversations these days, but we got touch peace side tonight and see where it leads. We wanna say special good night to those on our internet radio channel, Rise Moments Radio. For those of you on social media who haven't gotten it yet, it's it's Rise Moments Radio. Need to do this thing more often. Well, anyway, Father, we thank you tonight for bringing us into another season, another new month. We were absent last Friday, but this is the first Friday of the new month. And we give you thanks. Thank you for the opportunity to be sharing with the people, those who are on the Zoom platform, those who will be enjoying, those who will be annoyed, those who will be excited, and those who will be dismayed. Thank you for every person that will be here. And thank you for everybody who will make it a moment of time where they look into the scriptures and look into the discussion. And tonight, we have 1 hour left to coming off at 10 o'clock. So, if you could see on your screen, you will see it is saying Christianity, facts or fiction. Facts, fiction, controversies. So, we're going to be looking at the facts, we're going to be looking at what are fictions, we're going to be looking at what some people consider to be controversies. Right? So I pray that the Lord will open the eyes of our understanding tonight, and He will be, as He has always been with us. He said He will never leave us nor forsake us. If we make our bed in hell, He said He will be there. He said if we take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, behold. And so tonight we want to give God all the praise and glory for this opportunity. Yeah, so as we take a look into Christianity, some people are adamant that Christianity is a religion where it's fake and it do all kind of things. And people don't know nothing. And we brainwash and those who are Christians can think for themselves. Just among just a few of the comments, right? So before we even go into the meat of the matter, right? This whole study series came up about because people say, Christians should look. If Christians are allowed to wear tattoos, if Christians clothes should be tight, both men and women, and if women should be looking, for want of a better expression, sexy, some terms that Christians use today. And one of the things that brought up this conversation is that many Christians are saying, well, nothing wrong with how I dress, right? So before we go too deep, I try to get too deep. Christianity, what is Christianity? There are so many different thoughts and different avenues you could pursue. Many people saying different things about what they consider Christianity to be, right? But Christianity is focused on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, It is built around, the faith itself is built around the resurrection of Jesus. Because if there was no resurrection, then we will not be able to say we have a Christian faith. And that's one of the most important things for Christians to consider. Christianity is focused on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God, born in the Middle East around 2,000 years ago. Most of the belief is surrounded about how Christianity is based upon the fact that there is one God, and that one God was revealed or manifested as a Father, and His Word came to us as a Son. The Holy Spirit lives in us today as a Spirit, because God is a Spirit, and they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. So a spirit cannot work with a spirit. A spirit cannot interact with a body. It has to interact with a spirit. So let me get that said again properly. A spirit cannot work with a spirit just so. A spirit cannot interact with a body. Therefore, it needs a spirit being to work with. So man being spirit, soul, and body, God works through His Spirit by the Holy Spirit living in us. So He could always be in contact, and He's the one who's always been in touch with us. So sometimes Christians do contrary to what they actually believe, but Christians should model themselves by the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. Jesus taught people how to love God and to love their neighbor. Christians should also believe that God sent Jesus to live with us as a human being in order to save humanity from the consequences of sin. And I like to put it this way. When God created everything in the beginning, I wouldn't use the term anticipated, because He's God, He knows what would have happened. However, He gave man a choice to prove themselves wrong. We didn't, and we fell through Adam. There was a rebirth, and the rebirth came now through Jesus Christ. So the connection now is going to be made where God is connecting back to His people through His Son Jesus Christ, who became the ultimate sacrifice for us on the cross. Right? But one of the interesting things we find these days is that within Christianity, there is a war, and if I could use the word war, there's a war going on with denominations and who has the right and who has the truth and many other things. But if we take a little history, a brief history, we realize that Christianity has broken down into a whole set of denominations. Right? And because of that, there is just this divide. Because if Christians believe in one God, and I believe that Jesus Christ died and rose again, right? Then we come to the point to understand now that if we really take a look at it, it says Christianity is divided into many groups. We call them denominations. The first church was not even an organization. Jesus just used to be with his apostles and his friends, and he preached. He actually said in Matthew 18, verse 19 to 20, saying, "Again I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." So we see that Christianity, the first organized group or organization, you might call it, would have been a Catholic Church. There was some eventual breaking away from it, and in the early 1500s by Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, and John Calvin. These were persons who broke away from what you call the Roman Catholics. Still Christianity, but they broke away. And then after that, now Christianity was further divided into Eastern and Western theology. And out of these branches, out of these divisions, you start having Catholicism, Protestantism, you had Eastern Orthodox, Anglicanism, Oriental Orthodoxy, and Assyrians. Right? It's of a noted fact that the major Protestant denominations are the Adventists, Baptists, Lutherans, Methodists, Pentecostal, and Presbyterians. There are many others who don't call themselves that. But we should be mindful and we should remember that the Protestant denominations are separate and they themselves has been divided over and over again. There are more than 20,000 different denominations. I can't figure out how we get to that. It's like each church, when it's split, they consider themselves to be something else. But a church name doesn't change your core belief. You know, sometimes a church split from being a Pentecostal and from being a Pentecostal, but you are still a Pentecostal, even if you go somewhere else and be by a different name, and you're still practicing what we call a Pentecostal doctrine. You got different kind of Baptists, you know. You got different kind of different denominations within the Protestant denomination itself. So, you know that you have Catholics, they came about and they started out of what they call the Great Schism, something that happened in Western Europe, where the Catholic Church split from the regular Orthodox Christians, right, within the Roman Empire, because the Catholics believed that they were following St. Peter, who founded Catholicism, Catholic, Catholicism. Oh, I never get in that word spell right. Speak, pronounce right. The Orthodox, they would attribute to their patriarch Michael Cyrillus. Lutheran, of course, in about 1530, they were founded by Martin Luther and a guy called Philip Melanchthon. Then you had the Reformed Presbyterians, they came somewhere about 1520, and they were mostly in Switzerland and Scotland. The Anglican and the Episcopalians, as they like to call themselves, they came shortly after the Lutherans because they saw things different from the Catholic Church. And that was attributed to people like King Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth I, Thomas Cromwell, Thomas Cranmer, Hugh Latimer, and Nicholas Ridley. Right, Catholic is made of about 1.5 billion persons, and they are mostly the number one language is Latin. Right, Christian Orthodox they account for another 225 million. Anglicans are at 75 million, then Lutherans are at 66 million, but they are mostly Germans. So the Reformed Presbyterians and so forth come up with some 2.5 million and 8.3 million. But before we continue, I want to take another look at the branches of Christianity. This study says that Christianity is the largest of the world religions. and it has approximately 2.4 billion followers, one third of the world's population across the globe. And it says now Christianity began as a branch of Judaism, as Jesus himself was a Jew. But as it's such a large religion with international following, we find it not surprising that there are many different branches within Christianity. These are groups who have varying understandings of what it means to be a Christian. For example, the various groups of our branches within Christianity are referred to as denominations. We spoke about that earlier. There are different denominations within different churches within these denominations, and historically it has been proven that there were several divisions in Christianity, not just now, but from the great schism, and the Reformation in the 16th century. And out of that, there were three main denominations in Christianity: the Roman Catholic and the Orthodox Christianity and the Protestant, because Roman Catholic consider themselves to be the dominant force, while the Orthodox consider themselves to be the true form of what Christianity was supposed to be. Roman Catholics practice and believe that their 1.2 billion members have accepted that the Pope is the authority and he rules and guides the church. According to their records, he is the successor of St. Peter, and that St. Peter they're talking about is Peter who walked with Jesus, Then they believe that in order for one to achieve salvation, one would have to practice sacraments. Sacraments are things like baptism and so forth, right? While the Protestant tradition, they do not accept the Pope. They accept and teach that the Bible is the final authority. But while they are saying that the Bible is the final authority, there are many persons today who are interpreting the Bible to fit their social standings and to fit what they believe, even though they are saying that the Bible is their final authority. But a comparison was made to the Catholics and the sacraments that the Catholics hold on to. It is not the same sacraments that it's not the same sacraments that the Christians hold on to. While they hold on to some, it's not practiced the same way. Furthermore, Christians in the Protestant era don't believe that you have to work for salvation. They believe, as the Bible says, that you get salvation through faith in Christ. And the Bible does teaches that. It said by faith you are saved. So as we continue, we know that there are many subgroups. Again, we look at that, such as Baptists and Methodists, right? And outside of those groups, there are groups that don't share Protestant mainline beliefs, and they have quite a few diverse views themselves. And examples are what you call oneness and Jehovah's Witness, and because even though Protestants don't want to recognize or consider them weird, the Seventh-day Adventists is actually a part of a Protestant. They might broke away because they esteem and they hold firm to the Sabbath keeping and the dietary laws that govern mankind, right? It is a perpetual covenant, meaning it's everlasting. But the Orthodox tradition is way different. It actually says that we don't take nothing from the Pope. Basically, the Pope can't tell us what to do. They still believe that that the sacraments are still essential for salvation. They believe that they could trace their origins as far back as to Jesus' disciples in Jerusalem. And many Orthodox Christians believe that that gives them greater authority over every other denomination as they are following the right teachings. You have some other beliefs, right? So we know that Christians believe that the Bible is the final authority on what governs them, or I should say what governs us. We know that the Bible is for all Christians, and it reveals many important teachings. You know, Christians often turn to the Bible, and they turn to the Bible because it gives them guidance and it brings to them the history of their faith. And the Bible is a collection of books. We all know that. So we're not going to go all that. But just in case somebody didn't know, the Bible has 66 books, 39 in what we consider Old Testament or New Testament. I can't see why a book has been divided as Old and New Testament. And when you check what testament really means, it's a covenant. So you're saying that those books of the Old Covenant and the books of the New Covenant, they don't go together. That's the next controversy with many Christians. But the nature of the Bible is that the first part teaches us about the universe, creation, how men and women came into existence. It has been taught that the first 5 books by the Jewish people, and they are called the Torah teachings, right? And many persons would understand that there are Jews today who consider themselves to be Christian. They are baptized, not just as a sprinkling, but truly immersed in water. They believe that Jesus is going to come again, but they are still looking for the Messiah. So what separates the Messianic Jews from the regular Jews, or the different groups of Jews, is that they believe that the Messiah, who is Jesus, is going to come one more time on the earth. We know that we have the prophets and the writings. Then we know that we got the Gospels in the New Testament that speaks of the account of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection and ascension. Right? Some persons refer to the book of Acts as Acts, but it's actually Acts of the Apostles. Acts meaning actions of the apostles. And people teach that the Acts of the Apostles is another part of the Gospels. I'm not here to determine if they are right in their teaching or wrong. I'm just stating what people say. We will get on to it in our next week's lessons, and next week look. Get some pastors joining us next week to really look deeper into it. The role of the Bible in our lives as Christians is to show us the records of Jesus himself. You know, the records of the apostles, records of men and women who have gone on before us in the faith. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, you know, Gideon, Peter, Paul. Men and women who have gone before us. The Bible tells us that the main tenet of the Christian faith today is the birth, life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It also teaches us that it is through Jesus' life and death that humans can be saved from sin. The Old Testament contains the 10 Commandments among all other instructions that are given directly from God. How we use them, how we view them today, that's a different story. The Bible shows us Christians what God is like. And this is very important for Christians when you're building a relationship with God. The Bible plays an important part in our worship, both public and private life. You know, in private worship, people normally use the Bible to get guidance. Yeah? And in public worship, the Bible brings people together and creates a sense of community and shared practice. Right? What else we looking at tonight? So as we continue, we want to look at the question that was presented in tonight's question section. How does a Christian look? There's so many persons who would say, oh, the God that we serve is this and the God that we serve is that, and you know, you don't have to follow rules and you don't have to follow laws, and it has been quite a challenge for many persons. As a matter of fact, it has come down to where persons now start interpreting the Bible. So persons are now following scholars, and the scholars are saying this is what it meant at that time, and if we were to apply that to our lives today, it wouldn't be for us. There's this controversy now if women should be apostles. All of those things coming up, if women should wear pants, if women should cover their head going to church, if women should look, for whatever better expression, should look sexy, or they should just look normal. Should women be in long dresses and all the way to the neck? But there's one thing I do admire about the Muslims, and I could be corrected. The women stick to their thing. I know that they have different reasons why they wear certain things, why a person will wear a hijab with a cover over their face and things like that. You know? But in Christianity now becomes a do what I feel like doing. And that's how I am viewing it. And so we're starting off tonight by looking at all these things so that next week we're gonna put this together, invite some other groups, different groups, and we're gonna throw out the challenge. So that's it for tonight. As we come back next week, we're gonna look at what these things actually mean. So Father, tonight we thank you for a great session. We thank you for bringing to us a little knowledge, a little more meat on the bone as it relates to Christianity. Next week we're gonna look at dress codes and all of those kind of things. Women being apostles. We're gonna get real up in it next week. We're gonna get some pastors to actually come and join us. And we're looking forward to it. We're really looking forward to next week when we're going to just come and have a good time. Father, we thank you for bringing us tonight, showing us that you want us to learn, showing us, giving us a little wisdom as we move forward. We bless you, we praise you, we honor you tonight. We adore you. And as we continue to study your word, to show ourselves approved workmen, needed not being ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So we're gonna just say, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. As we close off tonight's session, looking forward to next Friday, all being well, for another great session. We thank you for all those who have been listening on the radio, those who have been on Mixcloud with us, those who have been sharing on Facebook. We thank God for you, those who are on YouTube. But to our committed and dedicated listeners on our internet radio channel, we thank God for you. Have a blessed night.